Hello, this is my second reaction paper, and I just wanted to start off with a quote from The Fire Next Time Down at the Cross, and it states, "Neither civilized reason nor Christian love would cause any of those people to treat you as they presumably wanted to be treated. Only the fear of your power to retaliate would cause them to do that, or to seem to do it, which was and is good enough. There appears to be a vast amount of confusion on this point, but I do not know many Negroes who are eager to be accepted by white people, still less to be loved by them. They, the blacks, simply don't wish to be beaten over the head by whites every instant of our brief passage on this planet." I think this quote is super integral to the Fire Next Time, just because it shows how black people aren't trying to suck up to white people because they like them and they want their acceptance. I think it's important to know that Baldwin's equal treatment point is very reliant on the fact that black people just want to be respected, not like loved by these white people. They're just trying to not be oppressed every waking moment that they have on this earth and in this country. And that leads me to the next point about equal treatment from Baldwin, and this also occurs in Down at the Cross. This quote says, "And all this is happening in the richest and freest country in the world, and in the middle of the 20th century. The subtle and deadly change of heart that might occur in you would be involved with the realization that a civilization is not destroyed by wicked people. It is not necessary that people be wicked, but only that they be spineless." And I think this quote has a lot of weight in Baldwin's work, because it's identifying the fact that the United States puts on this sort of like front to everyone else that we're not a racist country, and being in the 20th century, that was considered a modern time, and a time where freedom and equality was supposed to be normalized. But as we see here, like, it's not, and it's not being destroyed by, and Baldwin is trying to say that it's not trying to be like, it's not destroyed by wicked people who are out to get others. It's more just destroyed by the institution that is making these people think that black people are some like awful beings, like rapists, thugs, killers, all that stuff, when really they're just the same. They're all the same. And it's the history that's really destroying the United States's reputation, and it's the history that's being passed down to the modern age, which continues this oppression. And it's highly in relation to If Beale Street Could Talk, because especially when Daniel's talking about the jail system and how his experience was in the quote in jail. Sorry about that. He said, "Because they can do whatever they want, and they dogs, man. I really found out in the slammer what Malcolm and them cats was talking about. The white man's got to be the devil. He sure ain't a man. Some of the things I saw, I'll be dreaming about till the day I die." And I think this relates perfectly with Baldwin's point about how white people are just out to get black people based on the history that has been instituted into them. And now, especially in the prison system, which is still flawed to this day, they can take advantage and there would be no repercussions. And I think that it relates into something that Tish said later in the film, where she goes, "There aren't enough hours in the day or judges on the bench to try all the cases brought against these men. The game has been rigged and the courts see it through. A trial is your right, but to bury you beneath the prison for forcing the judge in prison is the court's right to do." And this just plays on how the prison system and the courts are flawed, and how courts are mainly compiled of white people who, again, have this institutionalized belief that black people are less than them and that they can treat them however they want, whether it's just or not. Sure, they're giving them the right to a trial, but in the end of the day, is it really fair? Is it really a trial? That's something we have to think about when going through these works. And I think back to the point about the justice system, Lorraine Hansberry's Sighted Eyes, Feeling Heart, she talks about, or one of the cast members talks about, I forget his name, he stated that internally, the FBI was bragging and taking credit for the raid. Publicly, they were denying any knowledge or participation. And this type of thing plays into the justice system perfectly because, as I was explaining earlier, the United States is putting on a front that they're not racist and that they've done something right, and that they're like sad to put people away who don't even deserve it. And I just think this is an awful thing because because it's not fair, and because equality will never be a thing until it's institutionalized, and in this time it wasn't. And obviously publicly they were denying any knowledge or participation of murdering a young black man at 4:30 in his own bed, but behind the scenes everyone knows that they were bragging about it and that they thought it was this, quote, like, beautiful thing, like this braggable feat that they had. And I just think it was awful, and I think it all of these quotes play into the fact that equal treatment still in the modern times isn't as frequent as it needs to be, and it needs to be more institutionalized, and people need to stop putting on this front that America is some perfect utopian society that has no problems with race relations, and it still does. Thank you.